What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Language, Litigation, and Integration Part 189, 30-year-old virgin. Now, confidently well past my half birthday, closing in on an all-time record. Sick. So, yeah, like I said, I've been no Tinder matches. Again, I would literally update you in the language litigation series if I was getting any Tinder matches or anything. But as always, I'm your host, Bradley Boos. My rights are violated. Article 1, Section 8, Subsection 7 of the United States Constitution. My property is being stolen. My alcohol company is being devalued. My bar and restaurant cannot be properly advertised. And I have now going on 700 educational YouTube videos spanning all research domains. But the more people involved in a crime, the less people feel responsibility. No different than a bunch of people looting. If one individual goes into a store and steals something, they have to make more of a conscious individual decision. If a bunch of people are looting and just looking around and you have no idea how to behave, you might just pick up the TV off the rack. And so that is literally what everybody is doing. And I am being blamed, whether it's my personal direct family, whether it's Nathaniel Lewis with his dad as the police chief in Bexley County with Capital University, distributing it as what it is in every research domain, and then giving, high five, you graduated, now you can get a job from this retard over here. And then when I go try to get a job, it's impossible. Like life is literally impossible. And so nothing has changed in my life, nothing has improved. And it's been well over 2 years since SEMA threw the snowball at my back, going on to ellipse 2 years of talking, Adam directly saying, why are you still trying to start businesses or buy businesses? Because I need to be able to pay my bills independent of my toxic parents. That is why. And I'm still doing it all day, every day. It's the only thing I'm going to do until it breaks. Because I don't have a choice. If you can't pay your bills, you don't have choices in life, man. You just don't. Nobody cares. But, and again, how many people are aware of what I'm doing? Right, Brian Sullivan, everybody knows. Why doesn't anyone do anything, man? Why doesn't, without publication, somebody can pay me some money so I can feel like a fucking person. Or have some sort of independent identity. And so, I keep getting fucking spam called. These robocalls are unbelievable. But, you know, the primary function of this lecture series is to bring to light, again, I'm a journalist breaking my own story. People will not, I have been scapegoated by a community of people that now shame me for posting about it. And I legitimately don't have a way to pay my bills. And people are just like, why don't you just hang out back and relax? As Colorado's extorting me, they have not responded in writing at all. Which is, again, you're on the clock. Each day that goes by, another 100 million, billion, whatever my real rate of value creation is. That is what the state of Colorado, they're currently on the clock. I've been documenting this shit for the past 5 going on 6 years, and this stuff has never stopped happening. Never at any point in time have I felt safe enough to eat and sleep consistently for more than 2 months or 2 years at a time. Ever. So, it's good stuff. I'm literally getting bombarded by fraud calls. Let's just pick it up and see what happens. Hello, this is Brad.
Hi, I received a call from you at this number. My name is Paul Thomas.
I did not reach out, Paul. I think we have the wrong numbers.
Okay, thank you.
Right on. Bye-bye. Okay, at least it wasn't me and Paul. Paul, this dude, I just got 2 phone numbers, some calls from the student. He's like, I got a call from you. I've not picked up my phone to call anybody that isn't actively trying to harass me in years. So, it wasn't me, so just bad luck on Paul. So, besides that, current events and talking points, again, if you're new to my channel, which nobody is, and nobody watches dick things that I do, but this is, again, mainly I want to do historical events, but again, anything that would encompass language, litigation, integration, the litigations, the current ongoing criminal activity of all my property being taken from me, but nobody will do anything. So I'll also do current events and talking points, just like a podcast or just a news broadcast, as well as relevant and random storytelling. Not much stories today. Just a couple quick ones. I fucked up my second casserole. So I told you up until the first casserole I made lasted 7-8 days. Good meals, ate the whole thing, except for like the burnt edges around the side of the pan. Going to make my second casserole because again it's about 20-30 minutes to prepare and then an hour to cook, and then you have breakfast ready to go for a week. And towards the end it gets a little dry, but again you're talking to someone who's again been food insecure my entire adulthood. Right, like when I was living with my parents in high school, I wasn't food insecure. I could eat food. Now I can't. Without again, like I can eat dinner. Again, as you get older, your appetite changes a little bit. I'm not doing nearly as much physical exercise. I'm doing push-ups and sit-ups, body weight exercises again. Wanted to give myself a good 6 months off. Back is just hit or miss. I just don't know. I need healthcare. That's what I need. But I fucked up my second casserole. was prepping it up, cooked it all up, pull it out of the oven, and it just smells a little different than the first one. I'm like, what's going on here? And so I realized after the 20-minute, 30-minute prep and then the hour and 10 minutes to bake it, forgot to add the cheese. And so I really like the melted cheese into the egg as opposed to just the egg. And then I didn't have enough hash browns. So the first casserole was better, but I obviously didn't tape this cooking with the same casserole the second time. that would be really, really running low on content if you redo the same recipes. But that was a quick story. I fucked up my second casserole, but it causes me a real panic and insecurity of like I'm not going to be able to eat food again, like legitimately every single time, because I've been scapegoated by a community of people. I need to form identity. I need to be able to make choices for myself. I need to have integrity. I need to feel like a man. I need to feel like a person. No. Brad is a scapegoat. His competence and his voice resonance level literally scares us. We get offended, and then we just throw this emotional tantrum and blame him for it. And that is the only way any human being has ever treated me until this day. 30-year-old virgin, baby. Again, I'm not technically 30 yet, but at the rate we're going now, I'll be closing on a 40-year-old virgin in a blink of a fucking eye. Because I got scapegoated by every person I have ever met. But any other stories? I picked up a stranded dude at Sunoco Speedway at Dublin, Ohio. I don't think I told this story in this series, but it was certainly while I was being, surrounded by people the entire time. But so I would just go, there's a little, I think it was a Speedway, but a gas station right across the street from my my apartment in Dublin, and this dude's out there is like asking people for money for so he can get a bus to go back to wherever he came from. And so I was just like, every now and again, like I said, I used to like stop and talk with homeless people, just like chat. And so I was just figuring, hey, I'll give this guy a ride back. And so I pick him up, and I guess he had a fight with his girlfriend. And I'm driving to some part of Ohio or some part of Columbus, I forget where. But and so it's hilarious seeing my YouTube comments of like people saying, well, you got to do something with your voice. What's going on here? But then once you sing in front of somebody, you see them have like body language reactions to your resonance level in like a good positive way. Like, wow, this guy has a good voice. You know you can sing. And then it's just like, how the fuck can you put out 14 albums and then nobody will click on them? It's because the resonance level of my voice scares people because it's more developed. They listen to music through headphones and through big mixed and mastered pieces the whole time. They've never seen raw vocality this fucking loud, including the aliens. We'll get to that though. We'll touch on that again today. But so I pick up this dude at Speedway, and so I'm singing in Spanish and in English, and he's like, "Hey, are you Latino?" I'm like, "Brother, do I look Latino?" And granted, you can have white-looking Latinos, but with mixed families or whatever. but definitely not. I just like the languages. But then I get there, and you can tell again, like he's having like a visceral response to both my logic, my resonance, my singing. And I'm just literally it's like, okay, I have nothing to do today. This guy needs to ride home. Why don't I just give him a ride and talk to some random dude? Why not? And so I drop him off, and at the time he's like, dude, I don't have anything illegal or nothing. And we get in the car. He's like, okay, man, I lied a little bit. I have a little bit of weed. I'm just sitting there smiling, like, yeah, brother, I used to move a lot of weed. You can have a little weed in the car. I'm not too concerned about that. But then this dude is just again like Carl Brown, the car salesman that sold me my truck, and then got offended because I existed. And he was like, "Who even are you, man?" You can tell it's like they have these reactions just to your level of competency. And so when he gets out of the car, he's like, he thought it was like a big deal to have a little weed in the car. It's just like, brother, it's completely fine, But he's like, as he gets out of the car, he's like, hey, be careful out there, but you don't know who's crazy out there. And I'm just sitting there, and I was like, maybe I'm the crazy guy, brother. It was a funny interaction, being like, this dude has no idea who I am. And I'm just picking him up to take him back to wherever. He's like, watch out, I have a little bit of weed, and there's crazy people out there. I was like, I'm not too concerned. I think I can handle my own. But any other stories? Again, March Madness is underway. Again, my dad sent me an email. I joined. Why not? It takes literally 2 minutes to fill out a bracket. I won't be watching the games. I don't care. And again, it's just amazing. It's amazing. These schools are literally giving people little pieces of paper and money. They're making money off children playing games, but they're now allowing for them to make money off of their own name, image, and likeness. But they're all stealing their academic credentials. My research affects every piece of paper that says, you can do this job, you have this competence level, it does. And so, it's just like, why would I watch? Again, I just don't typically, I would watch, I don't ever get invited to parties. I have no friends. I have no social life whatsoever. I don't mind. I don't give a shit at all. I want my money and to be able to be creative, have agency over my own action, which I can't do because of ongoing criminal activity.
But, so I did that. Again, the March Madness I will not be watching closely. But like I said, if I was invited to a party, I'd watch the games. Basketball, like I said, I don't watch American football. But I'd watch college basketball. But I just don't give a fuck. Anything else? Oh, just a real quick story. My trash didn't get picked up. So this is another again, super minor headache, but it's certainly a headache. It's just last week I take out my trash and I can hear the trash man. And I said there go, trash man, Bobes, trash man, Jones, and I watch him pick up the trash. And he just drives right past my house. I was like, uh-oh. That stinkies. And again, my account's paid, it's on auto payment. And so I called him up before this week's delivery and I was like, what's going on? Like, they didn't pick up the trash. It was marked left, not out. And I was like, oh, it was definitely left out. I watched him drive right on past. And she was like, well, there's 2 accounts associated with this address. And so the previous owners had not closed down their account. So it was obviously suspended because of their not payment. Well, my account was paid. So again, I missed the trash for a week. I'm a single male living alone, so it's not like my trash can's overflowing or anything. But it's just like, why can't people be competent at fucking anything? When you go to a new place, start your bills there on the same day you're moving in and shut down the bills of where you're leaving. It's not a hard, complicated idea. And because again, remember I had the big blow up from the fucking cops from accidentally tripping the security system from them not giving me the codes at closing, and then calling Vivid security system. They're like, we can't give you the code, as I'm literally standing in the home that I own in full. We can't give you their information, can't break into their house. People are just, there's one marble in people's brains just rattling around like fucking retards. So that is really it on the stories, not too much else, and just normal talking points from here. A couple bits of economics, we'll do that now. So I've been watching CNBC every day for 7+ years, and never once have they explained how bonds work. They say basis points left and right, completely incorrect. Again, a percentage is not a basis, right? The denominator is the basis, is the divisor. So it's like when they say basis point, it still means absolutely nothing. It is absolutely word salad. It's just you guys know what you're talking about, but you're using the wrong words, and there's no way to 1 + 1 does not equal 3. Left squared, right plus bonds, basis points. Nope, doesn't make any fucking sense. They've objectively never, I've been watching this show for all the shows on this channel for years, and they never once had like a 5-minute segment like, if you buy a 2-year treasury boat note, do you have to hold the note to duration? What if I buy it at this rate today and it goes down tomorrow, is it locked in like a mortgage? Right? If you have a 30-year mortgage, you locked in, everyone's over there like, yeah, it's at 6% now, but we locked it in at 3.25%. So if I buy a bond today, and again, what exactly debt am I acquiring? Is it just any given debt from anybody? Like, what exactly debt am I at? A treasury bond. Just the debt owed to the federal government, so I guess it's supposed to be secure because everyone's buying into that shit or something. But then, again, holding to duration, but is the rate locked on the day on the transaction or on the date of purchase? They've never once actually explained what's going on. But they said SVB bought bonds when interest rates were low, contributing to the collapse. If you bought them when they were low, that statement to me, I guess someone who does finance all day, every day, and I instinctually react to logic, that doesn't make sense. You guys don't know this has not been explained. Whatever the fuck a bond is, who's holding the debt, who's issued the debt, who's lent money to who, and how are you acquiring that, and is that interest rate locked in? And why the fuck is longer terms have lower rates? And so, that has never once been explained properly or at all on CNBC. They just keep saying basis points. Kelly Edwards, basis points. Tyler Madison, basis points. A percentage is not a basis. A rate of return is a percentage. And so when they say 25, 50 basis points, I have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. And I'm the one that knows everything about fucking fundamental ontology in any domain at all. So, good job, CNBC, for being fucking retarded and just incompetent at everything. Janet Yellen says no federal bailout for Silicon Valley Bank. Another collapse. Signature Bank had 9/10 of $88 billion in deposits uninsured. There's probably been like 14 more collapses. So again, when the state of Colorado literally makes up money that I did not earn, I have no idea who reported me or how, and then I've asked for that in writing so I can sue them, to which they don't respond, which is obstruction of justice. And then now they're going to send a letter to my bank and just steal my money. Oh, so the banks don't have my money anyway, so joke's on you guys. And seriously, I don't know what the fuck this Colorado, I've sent them in writing, we've covered that. To me, that is case closed. They've not responded in writing. I would go get a cashier's check and just not have it in the fucking bank. And on the 25th, if they try to steal my fucking money. but there's no way to function in this world because nobody is competent. I'm literally going to be the 30-year-old virgin because I got scapegoated by a bunch of people that all they know how to do is play games and come, and produces people so fucking selfish and incompetent and pathetic, they can't get offended. The minute you criticize a pathetic person, they just shut down, and then they blame you for it. Again, hundreds of thousands of independent interactions where that is the only possible outcome for my life. And so, yeah. Banks can't even hold your money anyway. T-Mobile agrees to buy Ryan Reynolds Mint Mobile for $1.35 billion. I fucking hate Ryan Reynolds, like honestly. He's not funny, he's not a good actor, he's just privileged as fuck. Oh, now I get to sell my shitty budget wireless carrier after I become a famous actor because someone gave me a fucking opportunity. Right? Ryan Reynolds, you got an opportunity at some point in your life to start a career. I've never got an opportunity to eat my meals properly and pay my bills comfortably. Never. Literally never. So congrats, Ryan Reynolds. Oh, I sold this company for $600 million. Oh, now I made $50 million this year on this movie. Uh-oh, now just start another wireless carrier because I'm famous. Uh-oh. Play games and come. And the only way to win is to get popular. That is the only way this fucking herd of monkeys called human beings operates. It's fucking true. And Brad Boas is too competent and offends people, so he's a nobody, so fucking die in a fucking ditch. I'll sit here and record on the news until things change, and then it's punishment. So that is it for stories and economics. Now just more news stuff. I'm sure it'll be 99% mass shootings. Podcaster Zor Sadehi, sorry, Arabic name, probably butchering it, and husband Mohammed Nasiri, killed by 38-year-old Ramin Kodakaramanezai. What kind of, who that is? I don't know what that name is. But he drove from Texas to Washington State, killed them, then killed himself. He was a stalker that had several times where he called her 100 times a day, showed up at her house or recording sessions, and attempted to be served a restraining order, but he was a long-range trucker, so they couldn't serve him papers. But if the state of Colorado, again, doesn't have the proper address because they just make shit up, 7 years later, then somehow they're going to get your proper address and serve you with papers and say, 30 days, we're going to shut your bank account down. And it is completely extortion. It is completely fraudulent. I wish I made $90,000. I've never made more than $16,000. Never lived more than below poverty on a loan, ever, at any point in my life. But yeah, I owe $30 million in taxes, I'm sure. But yeah, that was why people that like get obsessed. I don't know. They just form some sort of one-way personal relationship with someone they know publicly. And the public person is just like a normal person, like, who the fuck is this weirdo? And the weirdo is like a weirdo, so they get offended and kill them. So it's always immature behavior. It is truly the explanation for all of this. Larry Householder, former Republican Ohio Speaker, convicted on federal charges for a $60 million bribery scheme. Will appeal. Shocker. But we covered that a little bit. I remember that guy's a fat fucking whale from Columbus, Ohio, or worked in Ohio. But yeah, obviously looked guilty as fuck, and this country is the most, in the state, again, I'm suing Intel, any big business, if you are issuing paper that are based off intellectual property that you've not identified and is fraudulent, violating my constitutional acts or rights is the predicate for RICO, and then conspiring to do it collectively is the definition of that statute. So, it is what it is, but as long as enough people commit the crime, nobody feels responsibility, and most importantly, nobody has to change. Nobody will ever change their fucking behavior. 8 dead after smuggling boat capsizes off the coast of San Diego, a whale's vagina. Don't think that's what it means. But, not much to say there. Again, people that, if there's a black market and there's demand, people are going to try to do it. Whether it's people, whether it's drugs, shut down the drugs, legalize the drugs, not shut them down. Then you take away the power or the ability or the motive to have people going capsized. And I'm not sure if they're smuggling immigrants or drugs in this one. So, Oscars 2023 results. Not going to go through them. It's a while ago. I didn't watch it. I don't care. I hate celebrity culture. You guys are so privileged. You are so pathetic, and you demonstrate all this shitty behavior that I fucking hate. Truly. So like Jamie Lee Curtis, who again, she's like, oh my gosh, I'm 64. Look, we did it. And I am just over there melting, like, get this dumb cunt the fuck off my screen. That behavior at that age range is quintessentially why I cannot eat food and sleep properly at night. But I'm glad you won your fucking rock from another monkey to say, "You're a great person, Jamie Lee. You finally did it. You finally accomplished everything you wanted." Please, someone enforce the United States Constitution so I can eat and sleep. And pass that on. I truly don't give a fuck. Again, I would like to live my life, but I would at least like to feel safe if we're never going to cross the rainbow bridge of admitting all of science has been fucking fraudulent for 60 fucking years. But no, we would never do that. But yeah, literally, she's screaming. She doesn't know how to behave, and then she's up again when she's accepting the award. And then after the show, she's elated. She's jubilation. She's glowing. She's all excited because me. Just like my grandmother describing my mother's behavior, and somehow that has no effect on how she treats me. But and then afterwards, she's talking to like some reporter, and she's like, "It's all about the goodwill. It's all about love and spreading love and joy." And it's just like projection. You just won an award. You feel good about yourself. Now it's time to project love and happiness into the world. But my guess is from age 18 to 25, and certainly when your career wasn't going the way you wanted, I bet you were a selfish fucking whore like everybody else dominated by this fucking behavior of this species. Guaranteed. And then Brandon Fraser's comment, just go to the light, and good things will happen. Which light, this one or that one? I'm gonna go for this light. Is it, do I just like stare directly into it? Am I getting the light? Yeah, brother. Yeah. Good things are happening. No, I need constitutional rights so I can pay my bills outside of my toxic parents. So I went to the light, nothing happened. Just a case study. But I hate the behavior so genuinely, so legitimately. Oh, fuck me. When does this shit stop? Absolutely never. Jordan Peterson is now launching a fraud conference called ARC. Something about responsible citizenship. Expecting about 15,000 people. Jesus fucking Christ. Responsible citizens would simply do their job. Responsible citizens would simply clip a YouTube video and share it on their social medias. That's all you need to do to be responsible in this society. We have a fucking BlackRock that you can cell phone that you can just email things to people or post shit. And it permeates the entire species. All anybody's doing really in life is scrolling through social media, seeing how other people behave. It's fucking true. And so, again, we live in this bubble where we won't do the one thing that will actually change the sentiment of the species, which is, publish the unification of the natural sciences, make readily known all of this fucking research that affects every human being that has ever walked and ever will walk, and any fucking individual. Certainly in case of history, maybe not in physics or mathematics, but certainly in fucking history. We're all in this together, brothers. But yeah, I want Jordan Peterson and his entire family the fuck out of this society. Again, explicitly not calling for violence. I want them to face legal punishment for scapegoating me. They have stolen my intellectual property. They need to spend the rest of their life in prison. They need to. Again, this is the most prolific crime that has ever existed. And so many people are involved in it. They're just like, oh, well, we can do basically whatever we want at my fucking home. Then why can't you put some money in my mailbox and give me a time frame? Because we like to watch you suffer. You teach us things. And once that happens, we think like you're like good. And then the reality is we're just used to watching you suffer, and you're so mature that you have to sit there and not react to anything. I can't get too happy or too sad, or if I walk around my apartment building at the wrong time, some fucking niggers are gonna pull up on me in a fucking federal car and be like, what are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? Help stealing taxpayer dollars to harass another human being. Disgusting. Fucking disgusting. But so Jordan Peterson, again, Sam Harris, Lex Friedman, Eric Weinstein, Joe Rogan, Andrew Huberman, Logan Paul, Jake Paul, Mike Malak, George Janko, anybody comes to fucking Theo Vaughn, get them the fuck out of this society. Unsubscribe, do not socialize with them, socially isolate them until they cannot eat and sleep. And if they want fucking violence, I have the right to stand my fucking ground, and I'm completely prepared to defend my life and my property. And so you're just not allowed to live a life in this world where people just lie, cheat, and steal instinctually. But enjoy your conference for responsible citizenship, Jordan Fraud Peterson. Your career is done the instant my name is known. Done. Because I'm not going to be nice. Fuck off. You live shitty fucking lives. You cause profound detriment. And you have social platforms in which you can disseminate the unification of the natural sciences today, and you're fucking pathetic cowards. Get up! Do something, Jordan! right? Because when you guys steal my audio off of my fucking phone, and I say, oh, it's time to get up, gotta do something. And I've been doing that for 22 years since I've been 7. But yeah, go enjoy your conference with 15,000 illiterate people that are just trying to, and again, those people that attend the conferences, those are people that like they're 40 and their first attempt to like try to think about something. And now they go on the internet like, who thinks? Oh, here's Jordan. He's got interesting ideas, just like my fucking uncle, who was like, Jordan's good to listen to. Jordan is fucking retarded. And he's privileged and he's a criminal. So, yeah, enjoy your conference while you have it, man. Ben Shapiro and Piers Morgan continue to bury their careers about COVID. Piers Morgan, who's an illiterate fuck, says vaccines don't stop transmission. Yes, they do. Vaccines limit the severity of the disease. By definition, not having the disease in your system, you can't transmit it. It stops spot transmission, simply meaning if you have vaccination, it's more likely to neutralize in your nasal cavities, in your larynx, in your pharynx, in your pulmonary arteries or bloodstreams from having, again, the same way Narcan will neutralize fucking heroin. But if it's too late, then it doesn't do anything. So it's just like, my God. But again, if you lie about history or science, proven science on the internet, and you're just too fucking stupid or privileged to think that's not what you're doing, again, I will have a fucking law firm. Kevin Gates, they're making it rain on me. No, I'm going to take the money that I fucking earn, and I'm going to be paid everything that I've ever fucking earned, and then I'm going to buy a law firm. And all I'm going to do is have people go through every lecture, every email, and fuck all of these people, because you're criminals. This is the most prolific and severe crime that has ever existed. And I'm the journalist breaking my own story. But if you say anything, just stop speaking in absolutes altogether. There are no closed systems. There's no absolute anything. God. So they say they don't stop transmission. That is a statement of an absolute generality. Yes, they do. Okay, you can't speak in generalities and think that you can reason. And Ben Shapiro's like, oh, I know a lot of words. Ben, I can't watch one of your shows without you creating a word that isn't one. So you don't know a lot of words. You just project shit, and then you talk fast around stupid people who haven't read a book ever. Ever. You've read like 2, and then you put on your little yarmulke with your shit fucking family. Your wife didn't even say I love you back for the first month. That'd have been fucking awkward. And yeah, but now you're a good person. Nope, you're just a privileged, entitled fuck. Again, what did you a $1.6 million raise for a media outlet company? I can't pay $1 million to have constitutional rights. You can't pay $10 million. Can't guarantee $100 million. No one cares. 4-year-old kid. I was about to say we were lacking on the shootings, and as Americans lacking on shooting, nah, we blasted, yo. 4-year-old killed by 3-year-old sister in Houston, Texas area. 5 adults in the apartment. Depends on what type of gun, but I can't imagine a 3-year-old being able to confidently chamber around. So again, you could have a gun where you don't have to chamber around like a revolver. But if it was a gun where you had to chamber, then it had to have been loaded, chambered, and as a 3-year-old could certainly flick off a safety and pull a trigger. Doubt they could chamber around. Could have been a revolver. Wasn't interested enough to see what type of gun it was. But yeah, unsecured guns around kids is obviously fucking bad. But without having kids in the house, chambered or unchambered, I personally don't think it can make a much big of a difference if you're not actively like in a war zone or some shit. But again, if you're an adult, whether you chamber around or not, it's not going to make a big fucking difference. But around kids, you should never have unsecured weapons. Selena Gomez has a tragic life with 398 million Instagram followers because her lupus medicine made her gain weight and online body shaming. Bitch, you can eat food. Bitch, you can eat food and then you're sad because you gained 10 pounds and your followers are like, oh, only 70% of my followers want to fuck my brains out now. Oh, shucks, I get no attention. Oh, I'm not sad. I'm so sad. I have no career opportunities. I can't make any money. I gained a little extra weight because of my lupus medicine. Now I'm being strong. I'm being strong. I'm virtue signaling to the other pathetic fucks in my society while Brad can't eat fucking food. So I just feel terribly sad for Selena Gomez with 398 million Instagram followers. And I remember watching her in the No Regrets movie. When she was in that movie, fucking I forget what that was called. But literally, whatever that movie was out, that was right around when Megan McCabe treated me like fucking shit. And I realized I was getting socially isolated by this entire group of people. And so the movie No Regrets with Selena Gomez. Selena, think back to that day. I haven't felt safe since. Literally the filming of that day, since then. That's not a joke nor an exaggeration. Well over 10 decades ago. Right, it should have been right around 19. But, again, I'm easily going to clock into, obviously be a 30-year-old virgin, obviously. No, flagrant, let's get to, let's try I'll get to the podcast at the end. Justified series being revived with Timothy Oliphant in Justified. City Primeval. Raylan Gibbons! Raylan! So obviously, again, out of all the shows that I've watched, that is probably up there with my top one. So hope it's good. I will certainly be watching that. Big fan of Timothy Oliphant. Again, just as art as a person, go Kobe Bryant yourself. But again, as someone who's trying to get into the music industry, movie industry, TV show industry, again, I have a terrible voice and I can't sing and I certainly can't act. It's the same on and off camera. Yeah, it's just me. It's always fucking me and always fuck you. But I will certainly be watching that. Russia downs U.S. drone. The top military, Mark Milley, and this other black dude. Russia downs U.S. drone. It says they had aggressive behavior, but they're not sure if it's intentional. At this point, I've heard that the Joint Chief Chair, Mark Milley, or the black dude, who's the top dude, say that they think it was just reckless incompetence. The aggressive behavior for sure, but now I definitely heard reckless incompetence. Hyatt Marriott has liquor license revoked after hosting drag show with minors' presence. Movies versus physical movement. We'll watch a bit of this of PBD, so I guess it's part of the podcast. But, again, because again, you get the question of how do the minors get to the place? Are they, again, what minors? Are we talking 6-year-olds or are we talking 15-year-olds? Would I revoke a liquor license? Would I ban drag shows? No. Would I take my kid to a drag show? No. Would I personally go to a drag show? No, but I don't think there's obviously nothing wrong with it. It's just not my entertainment. I don't like fashion that much. Clearly, I clearly switch up my outfit quite a bit. Mostly because on money, but for real, it's just like, this is the shit I like. It works. I got it at Target. I wear this every day. So, it's just, personally, I don't like fashion shows, so why would I like a drag show? But they compare it to like movies. Again, if you're there's the physical movement of again like going to a Hyatt Marriott versus again a 6-year-old accidentally clicking on the wrong Netflix show or something. So again, would I take any action on this? No. So I don't know. Ron DeSantis is fucking retarded. He's a frat boy that's a party with high school girls after he graduates Harvard and try to fuck 17-year-olds. Big man. You married a strong man, Casey DeSantis, a great man for your children. Now he's a pathetic beta male that never had to be making any real decisions in his life. Now he's in some sort of position of power, and he's going to assert his values, which are nothing. So I would not have rescinded a liquor license for that. In fairness, I don't think it's a lot less severe than shutting down the Hyatt Marriott or something. But some nuance to taking a minor to a show, and again, what age of minor versus a movie of accidental clicking or not screening or something like that. But I would not punish anybody involved in any of this shit. I think you're fucking stupid, but that's about it. And again, I would not attend a drag show simply because I don't like fashion shows. Meta Facebook to cut 10,000 jobs and leave an additional 5,000 jobs unfulfilled that were open. Zuckerboink's really going for the metaverse. Again, I do think there'll be some value to non-personal virtual interactions that isn't Skype or video calling. I do think that's there. It's already kind of present in video games. Not sure how long it will take to develop or when it'll get market share. I still think it'll work. Don't know if it'll be Meta and Facebook, but some sort of value to non-traditional video chatting and non-traditional in-person meetings. French President Macron overrides Parliament and signs increased retirement age to 64 from 62, sparks countrywide protests. I haven't had a day-to-day life. I have no identity and no dignity for 22 continuous years, starting as a 10-year-age child. And 62-year-olds get upset that they have to work I'm sure, a privileged fucking job for another 2 years. I'll take it. Fuck it. Let those 62-year-olds retire, France. Bonjour, I'll come on over. Seriously, for fuck's sake, I'll take that job. Get me the fuck out of Columbus, go to France for a bit. And do some job that some lazy 64-year-old can't do, which I'm sure is prissy as fuck. Oh, no, we need 7 weeks paid vacation. We need time with our families. I don't have a family, I can't socialize. This is privilege on privilege. Whiny babies that have never been told how to behave. It's what the fuck it is. So I'll take your jobs. Now on to a couple interesting podcasts and a documentary. So I watched an interesting documentary called Rap on Trial. It's on Hulu. I think it's 2023, I believe. But it was documenting. The documentary starts off. Spoiler alerts if you want to go watch it. But I just thought it was interesting. It's an interesting legal point of, again, what extent do I see as rap lyrics or just lyrics in general as admissible evidence in court. And so it's really just, can you use rap lyrics to prosecute somebody and how and which manner. And so I'm going to give you my thoughts on that, because again, certainly into laws, certainly into raps, certainly been a criminal, and certainly been an artist, a musical writer. Who, again, Todd Wright, I remember you liked my quarter half of the whole thing, literally written on just songwriting, just writing sitting down to write a song. I made a whole video about songwriting where it's literally just telling a story. And so like my song Wild Wild West, that was literally me saying, sitting down to me one day saying, I'm going to make some YouTube content. What am I going to do? Let's do some music today. Okay, let's write a song. What am I going to write about? Well, I was just hired to be a musical producer and a songwriter for a Western show. So tell a story about people going out west for the expansion. And then that was just my headset, then I just tell a story through song. And so, and then I do that about drug dealing, and Todd Wright would be like, oh, I'm gonna get you, I'm a big cop. Okay, buddy, okay, please enforce the law. Article 1, Section 8, Subsection 7. If you ever made it to detective, brother. And these are all people I've been great friends to. Or again, Todd Wright was in my social circles, but not super in my friend group, but certainly around, certainly friends. And so these are all people that I was a great friend to. They were terrible to me, and then because they're protecting their career. Yeah, protecting your career, it probably isn't committing crimes, disrespecting, and trying to assert authority over the most competent, influential person, and not me, but the person who solves all science would be. And so, but anyway, to the Rap on Trial documentary, I thought it was entertaining just as a piece of information. It starts out kind of talking about Young Thug and Gunna being indicted under racketeering. Again, the Racketeering Act is you have it's supposed to target ongoing criminal organizations, like the United States federal governments and every municipality that I've ever reached out to, and all the news people. And they talk about, how once it becomes RICO, it's like everyone's crimes becomes a crime. Well, it's really you have a predicate act. Someone's committing crimes on an ongoing, regular basis. My constitutional rights. And people become aware of it. Then they have responsibility to do their jobs, and they refuse to do their jobs. That's because organized. And if they get told they're going to go to jail, if they don't continue to commit the most prolific crime ever, that is conspiracy. And then you take taxpayer dollars to pay yourselves to do so. Your words, not mine. I'm done talking. You speak. What is going to explain the world around you? Real articulate people out there. Because you guys are criminals and you're too fucking stupid to realize that's actually what you did with your lives. Crime. But then it goes into most of the documentary. It's only 52 minutes, so it's a quick little thing. But they talk about Mac. This is a rapper named Mac who got again, I don't know. Do people lie about their circumstances? But this guy certainly seemed to be telling the truth in honesty. But he had to serve 21 years in prison for a murder he did not commit. Again, going off what he says, certainly seems to be truthful to me. Don't know for sure. But he was in a club one day, kind of up-and-coming rapper, had some traction going. And then in the beginning of hip-hop in the 80s, there was a shooting at a club. And so he says he raised a gun, and he wasn't involved in the shooting at all, and ran out of the building. His explanation was he just wanted to bump the gun into somebody and shoot him, have the gun go off. But again, the way he told it certainly seems legitimate to me. Again, can people lie? Yes, but just going off hearsay if that's true. But then said that some chick said she saw him, and that her testimony was later recanted about 10 years later, but then got off on parole. So he's never exonerated, just got out on parole. But certainly seemed innocent to me. But regardless, they spliced together his lyrics of different songs and dropped I don't have to go watch the documentary, but it explicitly is like, I'm going to put a bullet in your head, but he says something like he's going to put a bullet in your head. But regardless, again, as we've read in Scalia's Reading Law, you have to take a piece of work in its holistic context, the whole thing together. So taking any sort of splicing of lyrics in court should be beyond inadmissible. It should be punishable by misconduct or something. On top of that, again, the only time I would ever even consider lyrics kind of admissible is if you have a murder, right? You have a murder that has nothing to do with rap. You just here's a body, what's going on? You have a suspect, he's a rapper, and then maybe confession, maybe. Never prosecute just the lyrics itself. Would consider that absolute Looney Tunes. Changing the lyrics or taking them out of context at all is prosecutorial misconduct, and even if like they intended, right? If they expressed intent. Right, that would be a little washy, but still, as a songwriter, if you're expressing yourself, it's better than committing an act. So simply going to therapy for pathetic fucks. But if you're just expressing yourself, as a psychologist, as a psychiatrist, you're going to learn about why you have those intentions in the first place. So simply saying shit out loud, or writing shit down, or putting it into a song would actually probably be less. Would help the person if they have a real motive to go, like a gang member has a real motive to go kill somebody, and so I'm going to write this song. It probably helps them like understand their situation better. Now, frankly, in common law, capital punishment is part of biology, and again, it just depends on how severe the crime is in each individual case. But I would never process or consider as a judge lyrics admissible in court expressing intent. Anything out of context, absolutely not. I might consider, again, if you have an independent investigation and somebody's like, yeah, man, I just whacked that dude over there. Because, like, Young Thug has a line, it was actually kind of a slapper of a line, to be honest. It was like, you know, I've never killed nobody, but I might have something to do with that body or something. Even like that, it's like, that's general enough where it's like, that should not be admissible. And for Young Thug and Gunna, again, I don't have their legal names, but Thug pleaded not guilty to all things. So they basically just said their rap and influence without again like that line, without like a specific body that they're already investigating, to me is no go. Is no kick the shit the fuck out of there. And so Gunna took a plea deal where it's like, you know, he took a deal, but he remains his innocence. But they connect Young Slime Life, the gang, to Young Stoner Life, the record label, but. Without direct incitation of violence that gets carried out, and without like an independent investigation or other evidence, as opposed to say I might have something to do with that body, as opposed to like, you know, I'm in the East Street Rock Killers and we went and smoked the Los Gentes, the people over there. So unless there's like actual specificity to the lyrics, it's not you can't conjecture on that. And because expressing yourself in songwriting is an art form, you have to put thought into it. It's distinctly different than speaking, right? Free speech as opposed to writing something out. And again, I hate free speech. It's not a consistent legal term. And as somebody who can't post about ongoing criminal activity or talk to somebody about, you know, where's my money, the concept of free speech has no value to me whatsoever. But so that's my thoughts on there. Absolutely not. Without direct specifics of confession of a past committed crime, I would not consider any lyrics admissible in anything. Because you have plenty of death talk, and they reference country. But go listen to metal. Everything's like fucking death talk. And so, a creative art form expression, or writing or thinking in the context of song, singing, lyricisms, without the direct specificity of an outside investigation, I would not consider any lyrics admissible. No. And the way they did that with the Mac dude of splicing together lyrics out of context, that is punishable. I would seriously consider taking I would take the licensures of the prosecutors of that, for sure. Anything else? Yes, we have one more podcast. I watched Flagrant with pyramid expert Ben Von Kerkwick. So an Aussie dude, certainly sounded Aussie, of Uncharted X. Not sure what that is. I watched the whole thing. Certainly an interesting historical thing, and I like all historical things. But what are the pyramids? I'm pretty sure they're receivers. The coating on the outside to reflect the sun. But they go over just about the entire podcast is really just about could the dynastic Egyptians have sophistication of tools to produce the symmetries and the ratios associated with the pyramids and with these vases. And again, vases themselves, every time you walk into a fucking museum, that is clearly like a fucking thing of all cultures. Granted, they are extremely useful, storing water, carrying things, but vases, whenever I walked into a museum, that shit always struck me. And additionally, the opal from China. The Chinese vases are ceramics with the blue. And so, They talk about the ratios of longitude and latitude of I think just of these vases, this like spherical thing, or it's more like an just a circle-ish thing. But it's estimated to be this stuff has all been like laser measured or dated or somehow. But it's estimated to be within a 1 million year old human hair in current form. Or no. But he talks about ratios of longitude and latitude. I'm not exactly sure. He talks about the pyramids pointing north with extreme position. But he says their estimates of humans in current form is estimated to be about 1 million years old. And I'm not against that. In my current intuition is about 300,000. But again, when you get cross species, I mean, just look at the different types of birds and shit. Neanderthals and Homo erectus. Again, we certainly had a Luca, a last universal common ancestor amongst human beings or others, extras. But the precision, and again, it's just like, and then they did show like the work of the active dynastic Egyptians, but they're just basically saying there's flatly no way to have this level of precision with this dated technology. And so obviously people have hypotheses and whatever, but I do think they're receiving devices. When they talk about, again, they show the king's chamber and it's not very lavish. Those people would certainly be lavish. We're reading about King Solomon and the Egyptians again, I don't know when the dynastic Egyptians were, maybe 10,000 years old, but not 3,500 years old, and they're conquering, they're building the most lavish shits ever, for real. And so the king's room would certainly be way more dripped out. They would definitely have the drip on that shit. But the different channels they talk about, I wouldn't be surprised when they talk about acoustics. Is channeling, again, vibration is universal. In the same way we have a cell phone and we have to have a satellite broadcasting a signal so we can send a signal and receive a signal. To me that is again, now we have to jump into, they say, was it built by aliens? Again, I have way too much intuition just to say aliens. And so again, there's extras, there was at least two here, confirmed on record, people confirming that to me. People were not people. But certainly, what is a human? Definition by that word, man, human, adjective or modifier. And so, aliens to me is definitely not here. Aki, aka, ahi, ahi, aji. Here, there. Definitely not here. And again, here being the solar system, the proto-solar system. And then to the galaxy, and then to Andromeda, literally. And so, to me, extraterrestrials are not precise. They're intelligent, technologically advanced individual societies that are a lot more biologically or similar or physically close to us in anatomy, to the point where they can walk down the street and nobody notices, right? The dude from Canada, that guy's still alive. But anyway, do I think they were built by aliens? No, I think they were built by non-humans that were, I don't think they were built by giants. Like, and we certainly, again, now giants, and talk about again, like Goliath, David and Goliath was a giant, he had 6 fingers. But again, that could just be a differentiation of anatomical differences. So the word giant doesn't really strike me as anything as non-human in anything. There was one line in the Bible that I read that was like, in the beginning there was Ethiopia, and then there was like a Bigfoot dude or something, or a bigger person or something. Do I take that as a different species altogether? No, I consider that as like Homo erectus, or just some other offshoot of the whatever our human genetics are. Maybe have a bigger person, but giants doesn't really play into me in terms of like just bigger people. They'd have to be technologically developed if all this, again, I'm back checked, but again, this dude is an expert. Again, they've analyzed this stuff with machines and shit. And so I think I'm very, 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 very confident they were 100% certain they were functional. I'm 100% certain they later got used as tombs. And they're right, because again, like when we're reading the history books and they want to get buried in the sepulchres of their fathers, they just want to be buried in their lineage. And then you have these massive, massive things. It's just like, let's bury ourselves in that shit. And so, the King's Room, they certainly were functional. They say a power plant. I think it's more of like an acoustic or just a signal receiver, really, than more than a power generator. Could be wrong on that, but I'm absolutely positive they would be fucking functional. Second of all, I'm more to just simply receivers, simply things to attenuate vibration signals, literally. And so that is my 80% confident guess. And then they do different drilling holes. Again, I don't know if anybody has actually researched the pyramids, but know if there's any way when they have crazy acoustics, Is there any chance they could put a liquid in there or have some sort of dynamic movement through the pyramids, like the actual shape of the pyramids having some sort of functionality to increase acoustics or to receive a signal in general? That is really what I'm going with there. But they talk about like the Bible references to other science epochs and stories and coincidences. The Bible is a non-impressive history book about the first human beings that kind of learned to write and maintain their stories and shit. So there's very little reference to anything besides just a structured history book of the Hebrew people within the Bible. Because I hate other people that, again, have not read this shit or not historians in a lot of different areas be like, there's references in the Bible and like this is one big cosmic alliance. And it's just like people live and die, species come and go, people were here, people were there. Because again, I covered all of the fucking aliens, but they say, where was the quote? They say, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. First of all, saying human beings aren't the center of life is the least extraordinary claim of all. But look at those words exactly. Extraordinary. Extraordinary is extraterrestrial. It's right there in the fucking words, you fucking idiots. But again, if they're servicing from the Earth, they're not extra. They're literally the definition of terrestrial. But it's a differentiation. The differentiation exists. And alien means foreign. That shit is alien to me. That's just way out there. Definitely not something I've heard or known before. So there's clear differentiation in our language and our diction today. I disregard giants pretty much altogether. Again, there were certainly two species are either on Earth or around this again, when this planet was developing or whatever. And again, I'm more so and I asked Sasha Mama, are you from here directly? And they're like, no. And so, again, I don't think that's an alien. It could be, but I'm assuming it's people in the know of the human species that are really in the know, that are dropping me hints to see what I can infer or what I produce. But it's torture. That's the part I'm not going to be polite or anything. I am being tortured by my species. And any individual that's heard my voice and learned from me, fuck you, you have an enemy in me forever. So, learn to behave, fuck you. The overall podcast was very interesting. They talk about 40 to 50,000 of these vases under one of these pyramids. But vases and bases, again, the bases, vases, that always struck me linguistically as well. But then they talk about the comparison to South American and Central American pyramids versus Giza / the Egyptian ones. Again, I've not seen either in person nor studied them at all, really. But again, the South American, Central American ones showed like clear differentiations. But again, to me, it definitely strikes me as a technologically that couldn't be anything of an offshoot, kind of close to human beings. And there were certainly Homo erectus, or just like larger Neanderthals, larger terrestrial monkeys that would have no capacity to do this, even with a bigger size. In terms of, again, the ratios and producing the precisions. But yeah. And so, but again, this is another, in the reference to this type of conversation, another quotes that stick out are, you're like 6 years old. Again, literally someone biologically, an individual biologically similar to me, and I'm 29 going to be the 30-year-old virgin, but walking at HQ Flats, but again, I couldn't have been more than like 40, so it's not like way older than me. And so when people say you're like 6 years old, again, your species could be 3 trillion years fucking old. 3 trillion years old, you're still have to be an individual that develops for your fucking self. I've proven that independently myself, along with millions of other theorems. And so, if you don't treat me like a professional adult at 29 going on fucking 30, after I've unified the natural sciences and served this planet in ways no other fucking individual fucking could, you will never be treated like an adult to me. To me, that's a statement of, like, again, just the age of the species, more so than my age. But, because certainly you can make confident adult decision making by, again, if you're pathetic fuck insulated by 25, if life forces you to. And life forced me to make a real decision when I was 7. I had to figure out how to fucking not offend old people. I'm doing scientific research, and they force you to go to school to, like, get a job or something. It doesn't exist. And then it says, why was all this intelligence wasted on a male? And so, again, like, not taking personal, don't give a fuck. But again, just what information does that provide for me? Again, I personally, like I said, I thought, again, I do think that at a technological stability, that females just have more emotional intelligence development, so that they'd be more selected for in reproduction. Again, skewing the population 55% female to 45% female. And so, They're certainly aware of, again, of other individuals, but I'm full intelligence, man. I've been doing fundamental derivation since I've been a child, before I knew I was forming words. And that's the highest level of research you can do. And I've been doing it on my entire life. And my life's been so much duress that I've developed so many other skill sets. You could do exactly what I'm doing, but you couldn't do way more. And the only thing, you could have more output, but if you're an individual at this capacity, you didn't get slowed down for 22 years. Because there's physical limits. And so, I am definitely at that level for sure. And so, why was all this intelligence wasted on a male? Not sure if that's a reference to the population skewing mainly female, or just in the broader known history of development of civilizations, and it's mostly females that have breakthroughs like this, which wouldn't surprise me at all. And frankly, my goodness, if I was a female, how much better my life would have been. Seriously, you can say whatever the fuck you want. With my level of discipline, eating, sleeping, I would be in good shape. As a female, I would be able to date. Then I would be able to socialize. Then I would be able to get into networks. I just had labias and some tits and some ovaries. I would not have been tortured for 22 years legitimately. And again, simply saying as a date. If I was simply a female with my level of discipline, I would be in good enough shape to get a boyfriend. And so, my goodness, why was all this intelligence wasted on a male? Yeah, I don't think it was wasted, but certainly hasn't been fun. And so, that is it, I believe. I'm going with non-human lineage, intelligent species that is definitely not the most developed, or getting to total technological plateau of universal or intergalactic. And so, very, very, very confident, 100% certain they were functional, very, very, very confident they were used as signal receivers. And so, that is what I have for you today, and it wasn't a harassing call, sorry, John or Phil or whoever called me during this episode. If you ever watched this, I didn't call you, but sorry you got my number. Thank you for watching another episode of Language Litigation Integration Part 189. 30-year-old virgin, baby. Gonna unlock more achievements. So I might do another book reading today, and I thoroughly enjoy just reading out loud, and it's easy content. Don't prepare much, just sit down and read. But working our way through, almost 50% the way through that, so I'll probably have 110, 120 parts. I'm going to another book. So, thank you for watching another episodes of Language Litigation and Integration, and I will see you on the next one. Please, somebody honestly fucking enforce the law so I can feel dignity and respect myself and pay my own bills, please.